Well, welcome everyone. I am Mario Infantes, vocalist in Cult of the Lilith, as you guys know, and today I have the great pleasure of counting on Mac Smith from KROSIS, ALTERBEAST, and a million other projects that he's gonna talk about today. How are you doing, man? How are you, Mac?
Very good, man. It's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
Nice. I'm super glad to have you here. We were just
Yeah, man.
talking now about where are we from? Like I am in Iceland right now, but I'm from south of Spain actually. Mac was telling me he's American from DC, right? But you're living in Virginia
Sure.
now.
Yep, sure am.
All right, man. Tell me about it. Like, tell me about your projects. Tell me how's it going. Like, I met this band thanks to Danny, the guitarist in my band.
Hmm.
And because we were talking about people who that would be cool to talk about in these chats and stuff, and he always told me like, you should talk to Max Smith, and he's in this sick ass band, blah, 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 and we were talking about you guys, and that's how I met you guys, thanks to Danny. So shout out to
That's
Danny.
awesome. Yeah, shout out to Dan for sure, man. I've just been talking to him because I reached out to him after you guys released Mara, and I was like,
Did you?
man,
Okay, sick.
killer. Yeah, it was like absolutely killer, and he knew who I was, and we just got acquainted, and then I saw your video on one of the vocal groups, the first one you put up. You remember that one where you kind of did a wide range of like you did a little bit of clean stuff into lows. It was something from Mara. I think it was in
Oh
the group
yeah.
I'm
I
on with.
remember. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. And then right after that, I figured out that I was like, oh wait, that guy's in Dan's band. So then that's just how it all got started. It was cool, man.
sick,
But
man.
yeah, yeah. I'm basically I'll just start from the top. I'm in like four bands right now. Three of which are released. That's a lot of shit, man. But
Sick, man, sick.
yeah,
I just saw this also Gears of War theme band that you just
yeah,
released, and I think that's you know what? When I saw that, I kind of thought, okay, there's a change in generation, like because Gears of War is. I mean, I don't know how old are you?
I'm 24.
24. Okay, that makes
Mhm.
sense. Because for me, Gears of War is a relatively new game. It's not
Yeah,
new at all. I think it was released in 2007 or something like that, right?
yeah. 2006. Yep,
But it
first one.
definitely
Hmm.
marked like that year in video games marked a change in generation, basically, and that there are
Definitely.
people today making a band themed in one of those games. I think it's fucking sick,
Yeah,
man. Honestly, and
it
I
is.
also think the game was sick. But what's the band about? Like, what's the genre? I mean, I think it's metal, right?
Yeah, yeah. So I'll just start there. It's the band is titled Hammer of Dawn. I just
Yes.
released it like maybe I think it was last week. Um, no music yet, but we released a teaser today actually, and you can find that on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, everything like that. But
You released the
yeah,
music of that band today.
yeah, it's a
Oh,
teaser. It's
sick,
just like
man.
a bit of an intro, yeah, with video to go with it.
Okay,
But yeah,
sick.
man, it's just like it's a black and death metal band. It's got members of Aborted, Hideous Divinity, and of course my two
Sick.
bands, ALTERBEAST and KROSIS. So we're coming in heavy. We started like with a lot of tools at our disposal, and we have a lot of very diverse people in our project. I got a guy; he's our guitarist. He writes a lot of our stuff. He's like he works in like TV. He lives in LA. He does a lot of TV stuff. He's does commercials. He's worked for Disney. He's done like some Disney shows and
Okay,
stuff. This dude
cool.
is like, yeah, he's in. He's in deep.
Fucking cool, man.
um, yeah,
Nice.
so like we got all kinds of shit going, man, and yeah, it's black and death metal. It's got a little mix of everything. So if you're kind of like a deathcore fan, it'll still appeal to you. If you're a death metal, old school death metal guy like I am, you also like it as well as black metal fans. So it's got a little bit of everything. It's inspired by the original trilogy of Gears. So Gears of War 1, 2 from I think it was 2008 is when 2 came out, and then 3 in 2011. So it's like paying homage to that original narrative, which is my personal favorite of all time.
Sick,
So
man.
it's just yeah, I just figured the art direction and the atmosphere and stuff, lended well with the music. So it's like, yeah,
So I'm
I think
guessing the
that's it.
lyrics are also related to, the whole lore of the video game, right?
Yeah, so the first EP, which I mean, I could kind of talk about it. It's just more details are coming out next week anyway. I have the first single actually comes out next week.
Okay,
Um,
cool.
yeah, so pretty soon. But yeah, the lyrics for this first one, they're definitely thematic of the game, but it's not like a full concept yet because it's kind of like we're experimenting. The second one is going to be like a full concept, and that's basically already done. So we're working very
Okay.
hard ahead of time.
All right, man.
Yep.
Sorry, I'm listening you with a little bit of delay
Okay.
with your camera. I don't know if it's just me. Like, do you see me well?
Yeah. Yeah,
No, it's
everything looks
working.
good to me. It might just be my internet connection even. You know what I
Okay, it
mean?
might
It
be
might
just
be
that.
too good.
Never mind.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's all good.
that's Hammer of Dawn, right? Then you are
Yep.
in 3 other bands, right?
Yeah, two of which people know about. So the first one obviously is KROSIS, and that's how
Uh-huh.
we got hooked up together.
And KROSIS
Which is
has
awesome.
already a really decent following.
Yeah, yeah, it's not bad. Even when I joined, they were already on Unique Leader Records, so they were kind of going on the way up. And I was kind of like the final piece. You know, I kind of brought the business mindset a little bit and some things that they were looking for in a frontman. You know, just kind of certain attitudes and certain ways of looking at the business itself. And it's lended us a big help. As you know, we just finished our new EP. We get the masters back literally in like an hour, and I'm really excited
Oh,
for it. It's
awesome,
really
dude.
good. I think it's the best stuff we've ever done by a lot. Um, but
I
yeah, so
mean,
that's kind of
I
like
don't know
the
if I can
main
say
baby.
it, but it's sick. It
Yeah, yeah.
is sick. It
I,
is super nice
I'm
stuff.
even impressed. I didn't know it was going to come out that good, to be honest. You always have self doubts, but
Of course, of
yeah,
course. I was the same
yeah,
with that was actually my biggest fear when we finished Mara. I was like, dude, all this work, all this hard work,
right.
and what if the mix fucking sucks now? What if the
Mhm.
mix
Well, you went to
does
Otero,
it
so
justice or something, But I mean, it
yeah,
went beyond my expectations for sure.
it's a good thing you went to Otero because he knocked it out of the fucking park. It's
Yeah.
so good.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, man. So we just finished that up, and we actually had a call. I can't say too much, but we're gonna have some good opportunities. I think it's looking up. So, and us being involved with the same agencies, we might even get to tour together. So that's gonna be cool. Hopefully that works out. Even you know what I mean.
That'd be sick, dude.
But yeah, man. Yeah, I'm very excited. Like hook us two up with a Legion. I think we'll be good to go. You know what I mean?
Fuck yes. Fuck
Yeah,
yes,
man.
man.
But yeah. So lots of good stuff. Lots of good stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's KROSIS and Hammer of Dawn. What about ALTERBEAST?
Okay, so Ultimate is kind of a funny story. Been listening to them for a long time. Probably about a year after their first album came out, Immortal, and they were after when that happened. When I started listening to them, I found out through them because they toured with Black Diamonds and Suicide Silence, like in 2015.
Okay.
I think it was called the Blackcraft tour. It was a pretty big tour for them, right? It's a first album. You're like, damn. So uh, I don't. I've always been a fan. I saw kind of a lot of the things that happened with them over the course of they released Immortal, then they released Feast in 2018, and then some stuff kind of fell apart. And I was like, man, there's too much potential to waste in this band. So it ended up being I knew all the guys from when I toured in 2019 with a band called Inanimate Existence. KROSIS direct supported them across the U.S. And I got hooked up with Andrew Lamb and Liam.
Mm,
Oh,
I
okay.
lost connection.
Where was
Yeah,
I at?
there you are.
Where was I
Never
at?
mind.
No. Basically, I got hooked up with the guys on tour in 2019. We toured with Inanimate Existence, and all the artists and air guys were there, and Andrew Lamb was there. He's a guitarist, and he was kind of just like we kind of hit it off immediately, and he kind of laid out to me what he wanted to do and what the problems were, and that he even had some issues that he cleaned up, and he wanted to get Alsterby's back on track. So I took that to notice, as I was gaining more management experience, and I
Hmm.
was like, okay, I see where the issues are, and then it kind of just turned out where probably about a year later, I was talking to Liam again, and at Satellite Booking, and he plays bass for them. And I was like, "Have you guys found a vocalist? Hey, what's going on?" He was like, "No, that's like the last thing we're missing." And I was like, "You just want me to do it?" And they were like, "Oh yeah, do an audition." And I got them audition within like probably 12 hours, and then they were like,
Sick.
"Yeah, you're it." And I was like, "I managed. I wanted to manage something. I just figured it was too good of musicianship to be wasted on just dumb drama shit. You know what I mean?" So
Yeah.
yeah, that's so now it's kind of like we write music at our own pace, and we'll do some big tours, but we're not trying to be like the touring 6 months a year type of band. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So that's kind of where we're at. And with everything I got going on, that's fine with me.
Yeah, I bet it is.
Yeah, yeah,
So
absolutely.
how the fuck
So
how the
yeah,
fuck do
man.
you have time for it? I mean, do you have like a normal job besides music, or?
hmm yeah. I'm like a steam cleaner, man. I do like professional steam cleaning for cars and stuff. It's pretty flexible, and I work. I'm kind of like a assistant manager type of deal, so I kind of get some flexibility. And
Nice.
as far as the time management goes, like I think people underestimate how much time they really have and what they can do. Some people have some pretty egregious responsibilities and a lot of things I need to do. But I just kind of built my life around to be like a music business guy.
Yeah.
And you have to do that if you want to do it. And I think I did it where, and now I'm comfortable. Like I'm not the starving artist per se. I'm still comfortable. So yeah, I don't know, just want to do it, and I just do it. That's really it.
Yeah.
Yeah, man,
Nice, man. I was
absolutely.
wondering, what about the other project, or can you talk about it at all? Or
Um, all I can say is it has a lot of I can't really say. I just will say that it's with the basis of one of my favorite death metal bands ever that's been around since early 2000s, and the fact that I was even hit up to be a part of it was like, I was just like, wow, it's cool.
sick,
But yeah, it's like
sick,
kind of
man.
I don't know, just one of those things. Just I'll talk about it more later. I can't really say much about it
No
right now.
problem, no
So
problem. You know what?
yeah,
That's one of the things that make you realize when you're doing a good job. When other
yeah,
people hit you up for these kind of things, because otherwise it's difficult to judge by yourself. At least for me, for example, it's
right,
difficult to judge if I'm doing a good job or not. When it comes
yeah,
to myself, because I'm super critical of my stuff.
hmm
But
sure,
when someone that you have certain respect for, like someone like in the scene that you have been following for a while, hits you up to collab or like do a project or whatever, that's when you think, oh, like if this person that I have a lot of respect for wants to count on me, I guess I should be doing something right.
yeah,
But it's
absolutely,
funny
man.
how
And
how fucking critical we are with ourselves, and I think, I mean,
oh
no,
yeah,
not more than anyone else, but like vocalists, we can be fucking, yeah, we can be
yeah,
rough, we can be brutal with ourselves.
I totally agree. I also
Like,
think a lot of vocalists don't like. I think they're trying too hard to match what other people do instead of trying to figure out what they're the best at themselves. And I think sometimes it just eats away at them, and then they go, wait, maybe I should do this because it fits me better, not because I sound like this guy or that guy. You know what I mean? I think
you
it's
know
a
what?
big thing too.
I feel like a lot of people, mostly more younger people that are like starting out doing vocals and stuff, and mostly metal, they are just trying to impersonate other people. You know,
Yeah, absolutely.
And
Yep.
while I think that's good for practice, I think it's good to like try to figure out how other people that you like produce that kind of sounds.
Right.
I think you should definitely find your own place,
Yeah.
and I see a lot of people just trying to impersonate, for example, these there are like 3 or 4 vocalists that are like copy pasted in
Yeah.
like Alex Terrible, for example, like Dickie Allen, all these people.
Yeah.
And while I think it's good to study them, to study how they produce those sounds, because they are obviously good vocalists, I think you should definitely try to find your own personality and your own sound.
Absolutely, man.
And it's not an easy
Definitely.
thing. I understand, it's not easy. Like I think actually I'm 32 now, and I feel like I almost found my sound last year. Basically, you know, and
right,
I'm still
right. I'm
figuring
still
out.
looking for it.
Yeah, of course. It's one of the most difficult things in music, you know, like finding your own sound. Like it requires getting to know yourself a lot, and not just musically, but in every sense. I think it all adds up, you know, like when you know yourself emotionally and like physically, and then eventually musically, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a whole fucking journey, dude.
Yeah, and well, let me just say before I go off on a tangent that I think that I like I know when I hear you, especially Amara, like I know it's you, and I think
Thank
a
you,
lot
man.
of people.
That's a
Yeah.
huge compliment, actually.
Yeah, no, it really
Thanks.
like I mean it to be, because I noticed that, because I was like, I knew it was going to be good because Dave Otero got his hands on it, but I didn't know like it was going to be that standout where it was like super unique. Because I think for a long time, metal has a lot of stale art, like not stale artists, but like, you know, where a lot of things, like you said, they kind of sound the same, and to hear like something different, which I think is the goal. Like everything I do personally, even though I blend in some ways and I'm still trying to find my sound, is I want to sound different. So every project I have, I can honestly say that it does sound different than what others are doing. So that's like that's my goal. You know what I mean? If it's, you know, just do what I want and make it sound different. That's kind of it.
I think it's a super ambitious goal, actually. I don't think it's something light at all.
Yeah,
you know, because the scene is so saturated right now with artists.
Yeah,
and
yeah, you really have to stand out. Yeah, yeah, you really got to be different. And I just think if you're not trying to do something, I mean, there is a, you know, there of course there's a line of like doing stuff different and still maintaining a certain threshold of quality. Of course, you know, you don't want to just do different stuff because it's different. But
yeah, it's just like I'm gonna fart on this microphone, like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It really though, that's, you know, I just think it's hard, man. That's the hardest part. I beat myself I beat myself up over it, and then I get all kinds of things like, oh, your this range is different, or this sounds different, and I'm like, it does, you know. I don't know. I didn't think so. But I'll take it, right?
Yeah, I'll take it.
Yeah, man. I'll take it.
I don't know, it's definitely, it's a whole journey. Like,
yeah, I wanted to ask you too.
Sure.
How did you get started? Like, I never asked you that. I ask a lot of people that.
How did I start with vocals, you mean?
Yeah.
In my bedroom when I was
well, of course, right?
Yeah, when I was 10, I think when I was 10, because of course, you know, I was interested in music at a very young age, but I think when I was 10, I started to feel very attracted to doing vocals, basically. And I just remember, you know, when I was 10, I would just, you know, try to sound like my music idols at the time, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And we're talking, I'm 32, 10, that was like, dude, I'm really bad at maths.
Yeah, you're 20 years deep. I didn't realize you've been doing vocals that long. That's awesome.
Yeah,
that explains a lot of things.
But I mean, to be fair, I started when I was 10, but I started taking it seriously when I was 15, 16. That's when I started to, you know, have bands. Like, my first band was when I was 15, circa.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, I remember a year later, I started doing classes with a vocal coach, basically.
Okay.
And I was with that vocal coach for a few years. Other than that, it's been just, you know, like trying a lot, practicing, and just like, I think the most important thing that I've ever done, and this is something I do in life, you know, in everything I do, basically, it's going over my boundaries, you know, like,
yeah,
I know it sounds fucking cliche as shit, but getting out of my comfort zone, right? Like,
yeah, of course,
trying this thing that is so beyond my limits, you know, and doing like, no, I'm just gonna try it, you know, and go for it. And that's honestly what has brought me to who I am today. Like, just, you know, be a bit shameless in that regard, and I have a bunch of fucking vocal covers on YouTube, and I see them now, and I cringe like a motherfucker. Like I'm like, oh my god, how do I upload this? But then I think, dude, I didn't give a shit back then, and it was risky, and I was just like, I'll just, make a fucking cover of this, which is obviously over my limit, and just upload it on YouTube for everyone to see.
Yeah.
But
I feel that,
now, now in perspective, I'm very grateful that I've always been like this, that I've, because right now, for example, I'm having another moment of studying singing that I haven't had in years. Right now I'm so fucking diving in the study of singing these days, and I'm super motivated. I haven't been like this in years, so it's kind of reminding me, all of this that I was doing years before, like going all over my possibilities. Like these days I'm studying Luciano Pavarotti, for example. I don't know if you know who Pavarotti is.
Yeah.
Like the opera singer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. So I'm studying, I'm again, like, going over the limit and like putting myself out of the comfort zone vocal wise, and that's how I did it. Like I started, as I said, when I was 10, but I took it seriously when I was 16. I was with a vocal coach for a couple of years, and yeah, I don't know. For me, it was always like a lot of practice. I was, I have no talent for music at all. So when people tell me, oh, but I can sing, you can, motherfucker, you can sing. It's just you don't practice enough, and that's it. Like everyone can sing. If I can sing, if I am today in Metal Blade Records, it's because I practiced a lot, not because I have any talent for music, because I don't. I certainly don't. It's just I practiced a lot. I studied. I, put myself in very uncomfortable situations. Like for some time I was singing in this like jazzy big band in my hometown, and that was stressful, man. That was fucking stressful because that was way beyond my limits, way beyond my comfort zone of, being in a metal band. And like I'm used to be with, 4 dudes playing super loud music, and then all of a sudden I'm with 50 musicians, playing like fucking winds, and it's such a different experience, and that taught me a lot. For example, that experience in the jazzy big band, also being with this director of the band that was a fucking music nerd. That was
right.
But yeah, I mean, just I would say, if you ask me about how I, started with vocals, I would say definitely that I just got out of my comfort zone many times. But that's also my personality. I understand that people, let's say, like, I don't think it's the only way, because, for example, let's put, fucking Corpse Grinder, from... from Cannibal Corpse. Like, he's doing the same thing for fucking decades, and he's sick, he's
30
fucking
years.
sick.
Yeah, he's my idol.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you understand, like, he took a completely different path, and I think he's fucking sick.
He is.
So I'm not saying my path or what I did, it's the best thing. It's just, it's how I, that's all the decisions that I made, and the choices that I made, basically.
Okay, yeah, because I was going to say that before.
Sorry?
Yeah, I was going to say that before I say my piece is, I noticed the difference between you specifically and other guys. Like I see, you see these videos on Facebook or Instagram or whatever, and it's just like another Dickie Allen clone, or it's like some guy just trying to be like another guy. But I noticed that you were like a really good like operatic singer, and I was like, holy shit, I did not expect that from a metal vocalist. And I think, to me, it clearly shows like your influence, especially when you do like those really toned like toned screams, like in Comatose, it's like really like Gojira-ish, but I can hear the operatic discipline in that, and it makes it that much better. So I was gonna say, I was like, you probably have a background of some kind. You know what I mean?
Not really, but you know what? Like,
Kind
I
of.
would blame two things. One is because my father was into opera a lot, so opera was a thing while I wasn't into it when I was a kid at all. Like I didn't, like it didn't raise much interest in me when I was a kid, even though my father was
Right.
playing opera the whole time. Blah blah blah. And by the way, there's no musical background in my family at all. They are all either teachers or photographers, basically. But no one is a musician in my family. But my father was into opera. And to be honest, the thing that started this interest in me in opera was Devin Townsend, which is my idol today, basically. And he was the one who raised this interest in me in the more operatic voice. And it's funny because I think it was last week I saw an interview with him, and he was saying that because he was getting this question, like, hey, you seem like you have an operatic background, and like you must have like you must have been to school, right, and stuff. He was like, no, I have no fucking clue what I'm doing. and the reason why I hate these notes and this operatic style or whatever is just force of will. And that hit me so hard. I was like, dude, I'm the same, honestly. Like I don't know what I'm doing. It's just I want to do that, I visualize it. And also what is super important for me is getting into character. So when I'm doing this, I am a character, and for me that is super, super important when I'm singing, getting into this character.
I got you. That makes sense.
Right?
Yeah, it helps you get your mind right. Yeah, you're in the game.
Exactly. The same with gutturals, like when I'm doing, and this is something I learned with time, like music, when you are doing music, and mostly as a vocalist, because you have to, kind of perform, you're acting also. And you are performing very different characters. And as I said, some people are more comfortable performing the same character, let's say Corpse Grinder, and they do it fucking perfectly.
Forever, yeah.
And I am comfortable doing many different, completely different characters,
Yep.
And it's the same, but again, this is my choice, and this is the kind of life that I want. That is because I do that with everything. Like I'm into music, but I am into so many things. Like I'm a musician, but I was a teacher before. Then I was a massage therapist, and you know what I mean. That's
a hell of a difference.
Yeah, exactly. But that's how I did, or probably it's just ADHD. I don't know, man. But
you're curious. You're into you're.
I'm very curious. That's how I like to call it. Not ADHD, but I'm just curious. I'm just curious. But what about you, man? Like I feel like I'm talking a lot.
No, I actually didn't know that stuff, so I wanted to hear it. That's why I asked. But yeah, man, I'm kind of the same way as you, where most of my family is teachers. In fact, I think everyone in the past 2 generations of my family are teachers, certified teachers. And my dad, he's like I would consider him like a mechanical genius. He has like 10 or 11 patents. He's built machinery. He's like basically an inventor. You know what I mean? Played Major League Baseball. Like he's all over the place. He's an overachiever. And for me, as far as starting out, I guess it started when I was a little kid, 2 or 3, and my brother was a big 90s rock guy. So we listened to a lot of Alice in Chains and a lot of, like grunge and stuff like that. And I always gravitated towards the heavier side of that, like mostly Alice in Chains, and I was like, oh, I kind of like the darker stuff. Even when I'm like a little kid, that's what I wanted to listen to. And then even when I was like 6 or 7, I've heard death metal, and I was like, that's it. So I was always the shy, like introvert forever. I mean, I can't sing I could sing a tiny bit, but I'm not good. And I tried out for a choir when I was like 14, and I was just like, nope, can't do it. I just walked out. I was like, can't do it. And it just kind of like turned from this. I always wanted to be a voice actor. So I'm still kind of trying that now, on and off. I can do a lot of characters and stuff like that. And when I was doing that and loving music, like I listened to tons of metal, I knew a lot about it. I was like, why don't I just like start messing around the same approach of characters as music? So I was learning
Interesting.
about both. Yeah, I was learning about both, right? And I was just kind of messing around and, all the same influences everybody else has in death metal and deathcore and stuff. And then it was like a sophomore in college. This is about, I don't know, maybe 4 years ago or so. And my then girlfriend, now fiance, was like, "You should make a video and just put it out. Fuck it, who cares?" And I was like, I don't want to show my face on camera. I don't like my own face on camera. I don't like to hear my voice. And she was like, "You need to do it, and I'll film it and edit it. You just do it." And I was like, "All right." So I did the catacombs of Shadow of Intent. I was like, I got to go big or go home. So I'd had like three different people I had to cover, and just put it together. It ended up turning out pretty good, and good enough that all those vocalists shared. They were like, "Oh wow, like look at this guy," and they kind of share me around, and just immediately just kind of uh, propelled me a little bit. It was like
Dude,
immediately I
how
felt
how
like
fascinating
important.
it is that, imagine that for whatever reason you're not with that person, like with your current fiance,
Mhm.
and imagine the person you were with at that moment wouldn't have encouraged you to do this.
I know.
Probably
I
you
think
would
about it all the time.
probably you would be just singing in the shower today.
Yeah, yeah, I think about it all the time. Like if it wasn't like seriously, if not for that one day and her
Dude,
pushing
that's
me into it, I
fascinating,
would never.
honestly.
Yeah, it's wild. And I always
It's
knew my
fucking
voice was
wild.
okay. Like I never thought I was like some great singer, vocalist, whatever, but it was just like she gave me a little push and I'm
I
here.
think
So
Mag. I think no one like. I think no good singer would think they're a good singer.
that's
I
fair.
think only the
Yeah,
bad
I agree.
singers. I think only the bad vocalists really think they are a good vocalist.
Yep. I'm right with you on that. And I also think, I mean, for me, I'm still learning a lot of stuff. Like, uh, even for me, I'm starting to learn kind of more like throat singing and that sort of style, like, and black metal vocals simultaneously, since they're very similar. And I just kind of have started doing that myself. So I'm starting to pick that up, and I'm always trying to chip away at
I'm
something
very
else.
happy that
I'm,
throat singing became. I don't know why exactly. Why? Because I've always been like many years ago. I was fascinated with Mongolian throat singing.
yeah,
And
yeah,
I didn't know until I discovered these Facebook groups that I'm learning a lot of stuff because, when people ask me like, do you do false chord or fresh screen? I don't have any fucking idea what I'm doing. I just do stuff. I try not to hurt myself,
yeah,
and I practice and I study. That's all I do, but I have no fucking clue what I'm doing. And then I learned that people are learning throat singing now. And I'm like, wow, that's interesting. Like
yeah.
I've always been interested in throat singing. And I got very interested in it like a couple of years ago, and it completely changed my whole way of like the whole process of singing, not just gutturals, but everything,
Right.
even talking. Like it has changed completely, and it has made the whole process of using my voice way more, way more aware. If that makes sense.
Yep. I
Like I am more
completely
aware of the
understand.
whole process, of like the movements, like the tiny movements on my throat, like how everything, or how the air comes through my throat, and all everything I'm using on my face, like, and it was all just it happened very naturally thanks to throat singing.
Right. Yeah, no, I'm right with you. I kind of like I said, I was just messing around and doing characters and stuff really, and then started vocals, and then even maybe about 2 years ago, I really started to dig in on techniques. Um, throat singing being one of them, but I hadn't gotten around to actually getting decent at it yet. But learning about like how false chord work, learning about how what fry range is, learning how to like utilize my diaphragm effectively and how it actually works, it immediately shot me because when you start vocals, uh, if you do it for a while, you'll kind of plateau. But it's if you find ways to break it down so that you can analyze yourself, you just hit this stride and you just get better and better and better. There's like it to me, it's like a 2 year thing. It's like you go for 2 years And then about that third year, that's when you really start to improve a lot if
Mm-hmm.
you practice consistently. And then you kind of do that on and off. You plateau. So like once you learn something new, you kind of get way better at what you're doing because it's adding strength and conditioning to everything that you're already doing. So it's improving
Totally.
upon everything. It's like, it's just stacking on top of each other. So that's when I really hit my stride. And I was like, oh, wow, I can do kind of like almost whatever I want now. So I got to learn something else now. That's kind of how I looked at it. So yeah, I totally get where you're coming from.
Yeah, and it's interesting also they say that it goes for layers. Like for me it's the same, like it will be, like as I was saying, like these days I am so motivated with singing, in general, like with
Mm,
studying new styles and stuff. And I haven't been like this in years, honestly. Like I feel
good.
like right now I did one of these layers, right now, like another step in my whole singing. And I think, like in my opinion, for example, again, this is, my opinion, my choices, blah blah blah.
Sure.
I think it's important to not just for singing in general, but also for doing culturals. I think it's important to sing different stuff.
Absolutely. I can't agree
It
more.
gives you, and
What,
because it
yeah.
again, it's just about, or acting more, because it's about doing these characters,
Yeah.
and if I'm singing a fucking Spanish ballad, it's a completely different character from a death metal song.
Yeah.
But all this is practice and like getting all these different characters into your mind, into your face, into your throat. So when you are doing, for example, gutturals, it feels like you have improved your memory, like your
Hmm.
muscle memory or something.
Yep.
And when you're
For
back to
sure.
gutturals, I feel like I can do them easier. Like it's easier for me to do them, and like I can do them better because I've been practicing other characters. Basically,
Yeah.
it's a very fucking
Yeah,
weird
that's
thing to
right.
explain now that I think about it. It's super weird, but it works somehow.
Yeah, I mean, to me, if I, not that I sing a lot, like clean sing a lot, but I can a little, mostly like a 90s style. And when I started doing that, I noticed that it cleaned up my like more extreme styles a
Right?
lot more, especially my high range. Like it really strengthened my falsetto and it made my higher range get like really high. And I never thought like when I started doing that, I was like under the impression I was never going to do high vocals because of how deep my voice kind of
Your
was
voice is very deep. Like
naturally.
I'm the opposite.
Yeah.
I'm like my voice is like I up here the whole time, but your voice is super deep.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I think that clean singing really built up my high range, and now my high range is kind of like what I'm like what a lot of people kind of want to hear out of me, and I'm like, do you hear me talk? And but they're like, no, your high range really is like it's that much higher and kind of unique. So I'm glad I did that. It kind of gave me a little piece of my own identity. You know what I mean? So clean
Hmm.
singing, if you're a metal vocalist out there, you need to clean sing because it'll make your shit so much better.
Yeah,
Promise.
man, and it's just about performing, and also vocalizing because I see a lot of videos on Facebook of people like, hey, check my lows, and everyone's just like, like putting all these faces and
Yeah.
always like just doing like, you know, instead of like saying something, and
Right.
like performing
Right.
something. It's always just like demonstrating my lows, or demonstrating my
Yeah.
highs, or demonstrating my fucking pig squeal or whatever. Yeah, but
Yeah.
what are you saying? You know?
Right. And I think for me personally, I a lot of this stuff, what happened for me in music, it's just a result of being into things that tie together. So, I'm doing these characters, but I was also like a really adamant writer. I wrote a lot. I've always been a really good like I could, like at school, like I could write an essay in, 4 or 5 hours and just turn it in and it was good. You know what I mean? It was just always like writing came easy. I always
Mm-hmm.
wrote a lot of poetry and stuff like that early on.
Sick.
And I found that helped me because when I was practicing these songs, I didn't have trouble with getting into patterns and like how that aspect of songwriting worked. and I think that actually hid some of my shortcomings, even, and like as far as vocalizing things. So
Mm-hmm.
that only helped me. You know what I mean? I think that's important. And everyone, they want to demonstrate tones, but that's like not even to me, that's not even close to the important thing as writing, song structure, that sort of thing. So
I'm not
yeah.
saying. I mean, I appreciate like people doing sick, tones or whatever.
Oh yeah, sure.
I
Of
appreciate it.
course.
I know it's a lot of practice. Like I'm not saying I'm not under, how you say this? Like I know it's not easy, to do
Yeah, yeah.
these weird ass tones and like super fucking nasty
Right.
tones and stuff. But I don't know. I think people should also, pay attention to what they're saying. And I'm not saying just about lyrics; it's about performance. Because I honestly don't care much about
Right.
lyrics. Also, because I'm Spanish, I don't understand most of the lyrics. I can talk English, but
Sure.
I don't understand most of the lyrics. Also,
Right.
I listen to a lot of music, in German, for example, and I don't understand fucking shit.
Right.
But
I get it. Yeah, I mean, it depends to me. It's just how you approach it. Like if I go to a show, the performance is number one, right?
yeah,
If you
exactly,
go,
exactly.
yeah, if you're listening to music, if you're just like listening for the enjoyment, it's music.
Yeah,
If you're trying to analyze and pick apart what you can do to improve your songwriting, maybe lyrics is where you're going, or you're listening to patterns, you know what I mean, or
exactly.
poetry, that sort of thing. Yeah, so it just depends what you want. That doesn't mean like demonstrating is cool if you have something really unique and crazy, then fucking go for it, But it's like you got to start somewhere, I guess, right? You're
Yeah,
not going to be a master immediately. So, but
exactly.
I get what you're saying.
But
Sometimes it's like,
definitely you
I
have to
don't know.
start somewhere. But I encourage people to, yeah, what we were saying before, like found your sound, find your character, you know,
Right.
find the
Yeah,
things you
definitely.
want to express, because music is expression at the end. It's just you are always expressing something.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if you're always just, impersonating or like copying these dudes, for example, you're not saying much. And for example, to be honest, if I hear a record of someone just like doing sounds, it
Yeah.
gets me bored instantly.
Yeah. I can't agree more, man. I try to avoid it. And I think anyone that I'm in a band with tries to avoid it. And I think the best albums that the albums that people will remember for decades and decades are not that. So
Exactly.
there you go. Yeah.
And
Yeah, man.
again,
I don't
it's
know.
just you don't have to be like. I feel like now everything is like a race to sound the nastiest, like the evilest or whatever, like the more fucking nasty. But then you have Corpse Grinder that has been in the game for 30 years now. And
Yeah.
I think
Well,
his character is sick, and he
yeah.
doesn't need to be like super fucking low or super high or whatever, it's
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think just on the corpse grinder thing, I just think he's such a pioneer and he has such a unique voice that, and really to me, for him, it's like power. Like you see this guy and he's just this fucking massive monster of a behemoth, right? He's just huge. And he sounds like he does, but
yeah,
like he has the range. Like if you hear his highs on some of those early, like those mid 90s albums, like Vile and stuff, dude, I mean, holy shit.
yeah,
He's better than most people now. So, and it really is that. It's like I don't really care about like if someone does something really crazy and unique, that's awesome. But I don't know. I guess as a musician, I want to hear something really polished and like just developed really well. Like I'm more concerned about good songwriting than I am about like just something off the chain for the sake of that. You know what I mean?
yeah.
I don't know if I'm explaining that well, but
No, totally.
yeah.
Yeah, I get it. Absolutely. I was thinking another vocalist that does this for me. It's Trevor from Black Dahlia.
Yeah. Yeah, he's the
You were
prime
you were
example of that. He's a
saying,
unique
yeah, you were
sound. Yeah.
saying that only that kind of vocalist will be memorable after some time.
Yeah. I mean, look at them. They've been around for what? What was that? When did On Hollow come out? Like 2001 or something? It's
I think
2021
so.
right now.
Yeah, 20
Yeah.
years.
Yeah. It's crazy. And I will say this. I did a podcast, I think it was like 2 weeks ago for a friend of mine, and we were talking about this. It's like metal mostly extreme genres. It's like maybe not black metal, but mostly death metal and deathcore. It's like becoming a sport where it's like everyone has to be heavy. It's like who can be heavier. You know, it's like a competition. I'm like, dude, just write
Yes.
good music. Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Exactly.
That's
Exactly.
just where I'm at.
Same
Um,
here. Same here. Like I'm not interested in being the nastiest or the most fucking. No, I'm just trying to make music that resonates with what I have within. If that makes sense.
yeah, yeah, absolutely,
Like
man. I mean,
I'm trying to
I
make music that I'm 100% honest with. Like this is and I think that's why Mara worked so well, because we poured our fucking hearts on it. Like,
it's you guys.
and
Like
we,
it's you guys in your
exactly.
essence.
Exactly, and we
Yeah.
didn't have expectations for it. We never thought it would get up to Metal Blade or whatever. Like we just did it. We didn't have expectations of it being successful at all. We were just like, this is the kind of music we want to listen. This is the
Yeah.
album we want to listen to. So we just made it.
Well, let me ask you this: that Mara's your second album, right? You guys had one like a pretty many years back, like 4 or 5 years back, right?
Yes, I wasn't in the band though when that
Okay.
EP came out. Yeah, that was another vocalist
I
from
didn't think
Iceland.
so. Yeah, I didn't think so. It didn't sound like you, but I actually talked to Dave on the phone probably a month or two ago, Dave Otero,
Okay,
and we were
he's
talking
great,
about you
man.
guys.
He's sick.
Yeah, he's the man. Yeah, he's I might be working with him for another project. Anyway, the reason I'm saying this is because you guys came up and I was like, how like where did these dudes come from? I heard the EP maybe in a blog years ago, but I was like, how the hell did they fucking get into your hands, and then how do they get to Metal Blade? Because I mean, how did they make such like a really good album? And he was just like, he just said that he was just so impressed that he just pitched at that Metal Blade because he was like, you guys got to fucking sign these guys, they're so good.
Yeah, that
And
was basically it. And
yeah.
it's funny, because people say like, "Oh, but they made the production with Dave Otero because Metal Blade paid for it." And we're like, "No, dude, like Metal Blade
No,
have no
no,
fucking
Dan told me
clue."
not. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, no, Dan told me you guys came. Yeah, he said it was years and years of work for that, and I could tell. You could tell when
Yeah,
things come out. You could tell when things are really half-assed or someone like a label pushed an album out of somebody. You can tell. So
totally. Totally, man.
definitely not that one.
Like Danny,
Yep.
the guitarist, is the one who wrote most of the stuff, like
Hmm.
the most of the instrumental stuff of the album. He wrote most
Yeah.
of it, and some of the songs are very like very fucking old, like many years. He has been sitting on that material, like improving it, year after year. And
That's what it takes.
yeah, exactly. And you can tell, like those songs have
Yeah.
been fucking polished, for sure,
Yeah.
over the years.
Yeah. I
And
noticed. And
yeah,
not that I knew what you guys were doing, but like I could just tell listening to it, I guess from a business and musical knowledge standpoint, I was like, they took some time on this shit because it's very polished.
it
Like
is, man.
more so than most albums. I was like, wow, it's impressive.
Also, we are fucking overthinking every single thing. Like, dude, it's called of overthinking over there. Honestly, like,
Yeah.
it
It can be good, but it can be bad too.
oh, for sure.
Depends.
Like, sometimes I
Yeah.
think, yeah, it's both curse and a bless for sure.
Yeah. I will say this, and from my perspective, for my Gears Hammer Dawn, my Gears project, like this first thing we're releasing, it's kind of experimental. So we wrote like 15 songs and then we picked our 6 favorites. It was
Cool.
kind of that deal, and then we put them together. And it was just like we were just shitting stuff out. We're like, all right, we like this. I want to try something like this. I want to try something like this. But at the end of the day, we grounded ourselves. And when you listen to it, it sounds like a complete album, but all the songs are so different. So sometimes it's like it just depends what you're going for. Like for you guys, that polishing helped, and then obviously it was successful. For me, it was this one. It was just like shit stuff out. We got to figure out what our sound even is. So you know how it goes. But yeah, man, it depends. I think for KROSIS, we are also like that. We polish everything. Like
Mhm.
we write something, maybe not memoir and Soul Bond, but definitely this one. We sat on it and we really just like it's a full concept. So we picked apart every sound and every single like little nuance. The lyrics and the music intentionally reflect each other like directly. Like if you read the lyrics, it would sound like the music. I don't know how to put that, but it's very we concentrate on every single element, and goddamn, it's tiring, but it's worth
It's
the
fun.
effort.
But it is rewarding. It's very rewarding, to be honest. Because
definitely.
think about how sad it is when you release something and you are not like satisfied with it. You know what I mean? You are like, we could have done this. We could have tried harder on this. We could have waited a bit longer and polished it a bit more. That sucks, because once you release it, it's there for eternity.
Right. And I think
that's the thing with Mara. I think it's the only piece of work that I've done in music that I'm like, I think we did our best. Like I can't see how we could have done it better at that time. I'm hopeful for the next album to be better, because now we have more experience, blah, blah, blah. But for that one, I just don't see how we could have done it better, because we fucking worked hard for it. That's for sure.
Yeah. I think one, I can tell. Second, I think with the new KROSIS EP, that's also, I share the same sentiment. Like I think like it is almost, maybe not, it depends how people like it. It's all preference, but I think from our perspective, it is like perfect, and we couldn't have done anything else different.
It is fucking sick, man. It is sick, and it's diverse. I told you already, I fucking love that.
Yeah, thank you.
And I like that you're not just showing off with the vocals, because
No, not at all.
You know what I mean? You're just not producing sounds, you're saying things.
I pulled back a lot, man. Like, I think Memoir of Free Will, the previous one on Unique Leader Records, I think I was doing like 8 to 10 vocal tones on average, and I was like, this is stupid. Like, the lyrics are still really good, I think, and I wrote a full concept, and it's connected to this EP even. But I was like, let me just ground myself and pull myself back and say, hey, what makes sense?
What makes sense? Exactly, man. That is not easy either, in music, because sometimes you have qualities, you have skills, and you just want to show off, like, hey, I can do this and that, blah, blah, blah. But what are you saying, really? Does it make sense? By the way, Danny is saying, Danny's on the chat, guitarist in Cult of Lily, is saying, can't wait to hear it. The KROSIS EP.
Tell him I'll send it to him. Tell him I'll send it to him, because he's my boy.
It is sick.
But when I went in, my process to this was go in, because the tones that you hear on that people will hear on this EP, it's like, it is me to my essence. Like, it's a little bit of modern stuff mixed in, but it's very old school. Like, it's like, very Dying Fetus, Cannibal Corpse-ish, Suffocation. That's kind of my where my heart's at. Yeah. And I'll just say that, like, I pulled back, and on top of just doing what I feel like I should do, I also concentrated super hard on pronunciation, like really hard, more so to where I didn't want to sacrifice tone, of course, but I really made sure you could actually, maybe if you can't understand exactly what I'm saying, that I'm saying something worth saying. If that makes sense.
Yes.
I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yep.
And the whole thing about pronunciation and like enunciating and stuff, you know what? It just reminded me of something. Like, many people tell me like, oh, it's so nice how you roll your R's, when I'm singing. I'm like, dude, I'm Spanish, that's what we do. Right? We fucking roll our R's like crazy, we're like, rrr. So it's funny that people say like, oh, wow, that's so cool with implementing that with gutturals. And I'm like, well, dude, I mean, it's it's my language,
right.
What can I say?
Yeah. So, I understand that. I like the rolling. I can kind of do it, but I'm an American dude. I don't roll my R's much. Like, when I hear Travis Ryan do it in Cattle, I'm just like, what the fuck? How? I guess he's from California. He's around it all the time, but like, still. Like I love it personally, so I get it.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
like I didn't understand it when people were telling me that. Like what? What's the what? Why? Why are you
Yeah, it's just how
complimenting
you
me on
speak.
this?
Yeah. Yeah, it's just you. It's how you speak. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. This is how I speak.
Right.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah,
Man,
man.
I want to know, what are you listening to these days?
Uh, I'm a death metal nerd, man. I've been listening to death metal for I guess almost 20 years, and that doesn't
Hmm.
change. A lot of black metal too. I think black metal is really starting to become like not part of my personality, but it's really starting to satisfy my want or like my what I want from music. It gives me
Hmm.
atmosphere. Some of black metal is kind of a weird genre because it's like it either grabs you and it's like this is your favorite, or it's kind of pretty off-putting depending on what you like in music.
Agree.
And
Yeah.
it took me 10 years to get into it, man. I used to hate it. I was like, I don't if it's fucking black metal, I don't want to hear it at all. Don't even come near me with it. Now when I hear it, I'm like I just feel like in the right mindset kind of, and it really made me a better musician because it made me explore abstract concepts and weird tones and like I don't know, it took like you said, cliched, it took me out of my comfort zone. It made me try something new and it made me expand my horizons a bit,
Hmm.
and it's helped me a lot. I think when people hear Hammer of Dawn, they'll totally get what I'm saying because
Nice,
it
man.
is blackened. Yeah, it's definitely blackened, and not in a way that's like cheesy, but in a way that complements the atmosphere of even the games. Like when you listen to that, it sounds like you're playing the game, and that was the whole point. So I had to
Sick.
have some blackened stuff for
Fuck,
that.
man,
Yeah,
I'm excited to hear it.
yeah,
Sick.
man, it's sick. I'll send it to you.
Sick.
Um,
You know what? Now
yeah, man.
that you're
I don't know.
saying that, it's interesting because now I'm getting more interested in black metal too. It's not like I was
Hmm.
super repelled by it before, but I wasn't very interested in it. And
Yeah,
lately,
it's very misunderstood.
yeah, exactly. And I feel like um, I'm starting to appreciate it more, right?
Yep,
And I've been listening to this record lately. I don't know if you must know these guys, Imperial Triumphant.
of course.
Dude, what a fucking
They're the shit.
sick record.
They're
And
so good.
man,
Yeah,
it's insane. It's so
so
fucking
good.
good. So fucking good. And I feel like the same as you before. Like probably if I was handed this record, let's say 10 years ago, I wouldn't have appreciated it this much, I think.
Yeah, yeah. I think it has a lot to do with my musical maturity as well. I mean, I've always kind of been that kid that was like, I was in middle or high school and everyone's listening to pop, and I'm like, I want to listen to like, I don't know, uh, Cannibal Corpse, or I want to listen to some jazz fusion or something. I was
Mm-hmm.
never like the pop. I've never liked it. But point being is I've always kind of been a little bit of a different taste. Because I didn't mention this before, but I actually started out as a musician. Like I play saxophone,
Oh,
had a
sick.
long
Dude.
break, but I could pick it up and play it, and I was a drummer forever, and that's how I got
Sick,
started
man.
in this whole music thing. Was I was an alright drummer. I could hold my own, but I was not exceptional or good enough to play in the bands that I wanted to play in. And I
Okay.
was like, and that's like kind of how vocals started. And I was like, oh wow, I can actually do this better already without ever practicing. So I just tried to do that, and it ended up working. So
Okay.
you know,
Awesome.
yeah. So like playing instruments really helps as a vocalist.
It
I
does,
think it
man.
helps you
Like I
understand music
remember,
better. Yeah.
I mean, I was fucking awful, but I was playing bass for some time. But it really, it did give me understanding, like a kind of a broader, like a broad view of music. Because
Yeah.
when you are
Yeah.
just singing, you only see one perspective of music.
Right. Right. Right.
So
Exactly. Yep. Yeah.
I think it
That's
really
exactly right.
helps playing different instruments. Now I'm learning more like keyboards and trying to play keyboards and piano and stuff. And it
Hey, me
definitely
too.
gives you a different yo.
Piano.
And I don't want to move my camera, but it's here.
Yep, no, I believe you. I got to put it back now. All right, there we go.
But
Shit. No, yeah,
yeah, it
it
definitely gives
helps a
you like a
lot.
broader view or
Yeah, absolutely. I think not that it's required, but I feel like
hmm,
like if you're going to be serious about it, you should play something
yeah,
just to
I
give
think
you an
so.
idea of, yeah. I just think it's smarter to do because it'll give you a better understanding. You'll appreciate everything more. I'm back to the subject of black metal. it was kind of one of those things where I was like, all right, what don't I actually not like about this, and what can I learn about it? And then I heard, well, I can't remember. It was just like black and death metal, so it might have been something like Veld or like Belphegor or something like
Mm-hmm.
that. And for whatever reason, that day I was just like, dude, I have been missing out. And then I really went down the rabbit hole with actual black metal, stuff like even like Mayhem. Like I love that style of singing, like that throat singing slash fry high thing. That is just the sickest shit. And I was like, man, that's why I got into throat singing. I was like, I want to sound like that. So, bands like Imperial Triumphant, of course, they're great. Even like some weird underground ones like Altarage and like these really weird like Deathspell Omega and stuff that's like crazy dark. To me, there's just more substance to a lot of that than other music. So I don't know, man. I was like, why don't I like this again? And then I just dove in and I was like, wow, I like this more than almost everything.
Yeah.
What the fuck? So
Oh, I just remember
I don't know.
now. Since you told me you are into this kind of operatic style and black metal also,
Yeah,
do you know the band
absolutely.
Hamferth?
Say it one more time.
Do you know this band called Hamferth?
I'm not sure.
Because I
I'm not
strongly, I
sure.
strongly recommend it to you. It's a band from the Faroe Islands, which is a small ass island close to Iceland. It's a different country. They
Okay.
speak kind of the same language as Icelandic,
Yeah.
but this band is also like it's a big band actually, and it's black metal. But the singer does this fucking sick ass clean singing, and it's also like operatic, but it's very very unique. Honestly, like
Yeah.
as soon as you hear it, like this, it's this guy, right? And I'm telling
Yeah.
this because another band that is in Metal Blade Records that I had no idea about is called Jotun,
Uh-huh.
and I had no idea, and I just checked them out because I liked the artwork, and I started listening to it, and I'm like, what the fuck? This sounds very familiar. This sounds like like the guy Hamford, and he's that guy. So
Okay.
this other band is not
Right.
as black metal; it's more like a bit more epic, more death metal, but it's all those fucking sick ass clean parts of the vocalist in Hamford. It's just, but
Yeah.
now it's more like condensed here in this band. Still is
Yeah, you
death
got to send me
metal,
that.
but dude, these I strongly like Hamford. You're gonna fucking love for sure,
Okay. Yeah. I'm
for
into it
sure. It's
already
more
just by
like
the
black
description.
metal, doom, with these like
Yeah.
super nice clean parts sometimes. But then Jotun is more like into the clean parts of this guy, and oh man, they're sick.
Yeah,
Like
that's I mean
these
to
days,
me,
I've been gravitating between these two, like Imperial Triumphant and Jotun.
yeah, and to me it's like the thing about black metal that I didn't realize for a long time is how diverse the shit is, man.
It
Like there's
is,
so many weird takes of it. Like death metal there's weird subgenres of death metal, but for the most part you're getting something that's pretty similar. There's like you listen to black metal bands and they sound like different genres and you're like, holy crap.
yeah,
That's crazy that they're the same genre. Like, and I think that to me is intriguing because I'm definitely the blogger guy always trying to find the weirdest band. So black metal is like where it's at for that. So
yeah,
I
man.
don't know. It just kind of grabbed me. It hooked me really, really hard. I guess like maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago, and yeah, it hooked me enough so hard that I started a blackened band. I mean, so there you go. Yeah,
Yeah, man. It's
but
very interesting. Like this, for example, these guys in Imperial Triumphant, they are more leaning towards jazz at some parts,
yeah,
and also
yeah,
all the
definitely.
dissonance stuff. For example, the dissonance stuff. It's something I could have probably just um I would have probably not appreciated, in the past. But
Yeah,
now,
it's a weird
now I
thing.
can
It's a
definitely
weird
appreciate
thing.
it, and dude, it's so sick. And so
Yeah,
tasteful. Also, like it's not easy to do that in a tasteful way. It's
I
very easy
agree. I
to
mean,
try
this
to do that and sound like shit, just like shit.
yeah, dissonance is so touchy, dude, and that's like I think that's why I like black metal so much is dissonance. You can fuck up dissonance so easy,
So
like just
easy.
the tiniest little thing, and it's
Yeah,
horrible. And then
it is,
like
man.
bands like I mean, everyone talks about Mayhem, and they're pretty infamous and stuff. But the way they develop dissonance in their albums, like their newest album in 2019, I think it's called Damon. Like just the way how like darkly dissonant it is, but it still all makes sense. It's kind of horrifying, really. It's scary. That's what I don't know. To me, that just hooks me. But
It is, man.
maybe I'm just a cheesy black metal kid now. But there you go. Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. It's super interesting. Super interesting. I'm gonna have to wrap it up very soon.
Okay.
Before we go, let's talk about video games a bit.
Sure.
What are you playing these days?
Fucking kind of a lot of weird shit, man. Like, I just got into. Well, what was I on Steam the other day, and there was some game. The fuck was it called? I gotta look at it. Oh, it's called Deep Rock Galactic. It's like this weird ass like sandbox shooter thing that has 100% destructible environments. So it's like the way you build your path to get to the objective, you also have to get back. So like you could just destroy the whole floor and then you can't get back. It's fucking hard. So I've been playing that with my fiance a bit, and let's see, kind of just like going back to like the classics and like Dark Souls and stuff. And Outer Wilds is another one that I've been wanting to get more into. It's just like a weird time loop. Like, I don't even know what you call it. I guess it's sandbox. But you just explore and you find other planets, but it's like you die and then you come back to the same place you started the whole game at. It's fucking wild. It's crazy. And then of course, like every once in a while, I'll play Halo for old time's sake, and Doom.
Okay, fucking Doom, man.
Yeah, man. Of course, Doom Eternal is like the best shooter I've played in years.
Same
insane.
Here.
Same here. What about you?
I fucking love pixel art games. For example, like indies and stuff, and RPGs. That's my jam these late years. That's what I've been playing. Like I've been playing loads of RPGs. I've been playing Divinity Original Sin. I don't know if you know the series.
Say it one more time. I might ring a bell.
Divinity Original Sin.
Oh, Divinity. Yeah. I have Original Sin. Yeah. It's a good ass game, man.
Yeah, I fucking love that kind of games, man. That's my thing, Baldur's Gate, all that stuff. And then like pixel art games, like indies and stuff. That's what I've been playing lately.
Yeah, the best game I've played, like indie wise, is Hollow Knight. Probably that's probably the best indie game I've played in many years.
That is sick ass game, man.
It is just too good. Like it's so good. It's just like, all right, I guess everyone should quit now because they did it.
Yeah,
that's pretty much it. Yeah, I really like the indie stuff too. I'm glad that like indie games are really starting to pick up. Another good one I played is Mortal Shell. That's a good one.
That's a like, Dark Souls inspired game, right?
Yeah, a team of 15 people made that game.
Okay.
It's like a 10-hour masterpiece. 15 people. I was like, all right, man.
Wow.
Get a bigger team and make something ridiculous because you got it. That's really good. Yeah.
I appreciate how good Dark Souls is, but I can't play it because it gives me fucking anxiety.
Yeah, I got to be in the right mood, man. I really have to approach it like I have to be like in a learning mode. I can't just play it. That doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
In fact, Mortal Shell is so good that in the last interlude of the new KROSIS album, there is a direct quote of it in there.
Is it?
If you listen close
cool.
enough. Yes. Yep.
Cool.
So Mortal Shell fans will pick that up.
Sick.
And they're also cool because they put black metal in their game, so that's cool. They put Riding Crest in their game, so that's dope.
Nice.
But yeah, man, we should fucking play some online sometime. I don't really play much online, but I could find something to play.
Fuck yeah, man! Like if we find a game we both want to play, I'm all up for it for sure.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
I'm definitely I'm like that kid that plays the classic, not over and over and over again, but I'll go back every year or two and play first 3 Gears all over again, and I'll play like the original Halo trilogy, and I'll play, just like I used to love the old Fallout games. Fallout 3 and New Vegas
love
are
Fallout,
just
man.
So good. And of course older Elder Scrolls like Morrowind and Oblivion, Skyrim is great.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I kind of just play everything.
Same.
I just play everything. Yeah.
Same.
This is how I am.
Like
But
I said, like that's definitely the stuff that I gravitate the most towards. You know, like RPGs and pixel art indies and stuff. But I've played almost everything. Like I've played all the Doom series for sure. You know, I mean, I played them when it was released. It was in I think it was in 94, man. I think that's when the original. And I remember playing that game in my computer when I was like 7 years old or something. Like my father, my father didn't want us, like my brother and I, my he didn't want us to play the game because he thought it was too violent back then. And imagine now, you know, like now you have like Grand Theft Auto 5, where you can do whatever the fuck you want. And my father didn't want us to play the original Doom. You know,
it's crazy because people don't realize like Doom is like the OG shooter.
It is the OG,
basically.
Man. It is the OG for sure.
I
mean, there were a few FPS before, you know, Doom.
Yeah, the one that got it, the genre kind of rolling, I think, in my opinion. Yeah, really, like the main one. And it's crazy to see that game and how like kind of revolutionary it was, and then you see Doom Eternal, which is like in a different realm of shooting, like different mechanics and just like art direction. It's so different, and you're just like, damn, man.
Man, the art direction in that game is insane. It's insane.
I know. I couldn't get over it. I was playing it, and I was just playing, and I was like, this is so good. And she's just, you know, my fiance's over here like, just shut up and play it. What the fuck? Like, it's just so good, though. I don't. Yeah, I was just impressed, you know, the whole time.
It's funny because I remember telling my girlfriend also, and she doesn't give a shit about video games, you know. And I was like, are you seeing this?
Yeah.
Are you seeing this? She's like, well.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, I know. I mean, to be honest, my fiance is probably more of a gamer than I even am, and I've been into this shit forever, so.
Really?
She's a keeper for sure. She's a keeper, yeah.
Sick.
But I haven't gotten to play too much, obviously, lately, because I've been working on, you know, 3 projects at the same fucking time.
Same here. I wish I had more time. Like, I wish I had more time to stream and stuff, because I really enjoy streaming video games and stuff, but it's just I don't have time, man.
Yeah.
And sometimes I have time, but I don't have the energy because I've been working the whole day, blah, 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 you know, and I just want to chill, because at the end, this is also like when you're streaming and stuff, it's fucking draining sometimes, you know, because it's not just you playing by yourself, you know, like fucking chilling and stuff. You're also entertaining and talking to people and blah, blah. I wish I had more time for that.
You're basically acting.
Yeah. Again, it's in character. Like when I'm streaming gaming and stuff, it's not just me, just, you know, fucking being lazy on my pajamas, like fucking, you know. I have to be more. The more entertaining character, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of people don't get how much work it is.
Yeah, it is,
really
man.
Don't. Like,
it is insane.
Just to set up a stream is work. I haven't done it yet.
No fucking
idea. A lot of fucking work.
It's insane. Oh my god, it took my mental health away for a few months. Just trying to figure out everything. But it is fun also. It's creative also, you know, finding...
Yeah.
It's fun. But dude, we have to play online for sure sometime. Let's find some game.
We'll figure something out.
We
Absolutely,
will.
Man.
For sure.
Yeah, man. But yeah, hey, thanks for having me. It's been a good time. I can't wait to hopefully tour with you at some point. I'm sure you will. Also, by the way, congratulations on that aborted tour. Yeah, congrats on that aborted tour. That's fucking huge. I'm super jealous internally, but I'm also super happy for you guys.
Well, I mean, let's hope it happens at all, to be honest.
Yeah, if it happens, right.
If it happens, because it's, you know, things are not looking great.
Yeah.
Things are not looking great. But we'll see. Fingers crossed, you know. Yeah. We'll see. And also, once the world is, you know, back to normal, hopefully we can tour in the States, and it would be fucking sick to tour together, man.
Yeah, and I mean, to be fair, it's just sick to see your band logo on a flyer like that. It's like aborted in case you strain, and then it's you. You're like, oh shit, things got real. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, man. Hopefully, definitely, we will do something. We will do something at some point for sure.
Fuck yeah, man. All right, dude. It's been a huge pleasure. We'll be definitely in touch. And thanks for hanging out.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for having me. It's been a good time.
All right, man. See you.
All right. Peace.
Bye. Peace.